Hello, Joe Kersey here again. I'm filming this on Friday, April 24th, but I don't know when I'm going to put this up. You may want to put the kids and the dogs away for this one, folks. It's going to get a little raw here. The other day, at an end shot, I raised my arms in exuberance, and one of my subscribers says, "Oh my heavens, you got pierced nipples." And then he added the remark, "Ouch," which is a natural enough assumption, because, quite honestly, it does hurt a bit getting them done. I got mine done June 19th of last year. There's some dust here. And down at Piercology in Columbus, Ohio, 190 West 2nd Avenue. I highly recommend the place if you're in the central Ohio area to go there and get this stuff done. I mean, if you're going to have any of that kind of stuff done. Very clean, very professional. Everything's sterilized. Single-use items only. Everything's autoclaved. The guys know what they're doing. Well, I went down there and I had the ones that you were in that little video very briefly the other day were my original. Those are my original rings, and they were 10 gauge stainless steel rings with a 5/8 inch internal diameter. And they say it takes between 8 and 12 weeks to heal, and it does, to fully heal. I mean, to truly fully heal. Now, after about the first 4, 5, or 6 weeks, they sort of look and act like they're healed, but don't fight the urge to horse with them, because that'll just sort of make things set you back a bit. And you have to clean them twice a day, and a little salt water soak, and it's not all that time consuming, but it's you have to be sure and do it. Mine, bled. Initially when they put in, there was, this side bled. This side not so much. And then after that, that was it, basically. Occasionally, if you would move the rings, there might be a little bit of bleeding, but that was very early on. Essentially, for all intents and purposes, if you don't mess with them, after about 6 weeks, they're healed, but they're not fully healed. They're not really fully healed until about 12 weeks. And even then, you can still have, they don't really hurt much after about the first, 3 or 4 days or so. And hurt really isn't the right phrase. It's more just like sort of a deep soreness. I mean, you're aware that, you're messing with. After that, it doesn't bother you much at all. It didn't bother me anyway. But I have a fairly high pain threshold. I mean, I'll admit that. I piss and moan a lot, but I have a fairly high pain threshold. So the other day on Wednesday, I'd been wanting to go up to 8 gauge and get a wider diameter ring. After about 6 months, I realized I really wanted to do that. And about 5 months, actually, I realized I wanted to do that. But I wanted to wait long enough. So I was 10 months out. And even some people might say that's a bit too soon to try to stretch these things up to a higher gauge. And it was fast. I mean, the original piercing was relatively fast too. I was in and out in under 25 minutes, and that includes all the paperwork and the talking and the assessment and so forth. This time I was in and out in less than 15 minutes. You go in and select the jewelry you want. Now these are 8-gauge stainless steel rings with 3/4 inch internal diameter. So the external diameter, the actual external diameter of the ring is a little bit larger than 3/4 of an inch. It more naturally matches the size of my areola. Plus, with the wider diameter ring, you don't have quite as an acute bend. It's a flatter bend. And remember, what you're doing is, you're making a straight hole and you're putting a curved object through it when you're getting rings. And so, the tighter the curve, the more likely you're going to have continual, irritation and callus formation and so forth, which I think was starting to happen with mine with the 5/8 inch ring. The 5/8 inch rings, they didn't want to move freely. You had to sort of put some soap down in there and water and to get them moving freely. These, they move freely. They move freely. It's just basically Zippo discomfort. Now I'll tell you, the actual stretching, they use a brass tapered object, and they put it through, and then they follow through with the ring right after it's through that stretch tunnel. But there was no bleeding. There was no bleeding. It stung. I mean, this hurt. This hurt. But it was so fast. It's like, and these aren't so much sore. I mean, what they are is they're exquisitely sensitive right now, and they'll remain so. But you have a soreness, but that's going to go away. Probably, I imagine, the next 3 days at the most. And I'm very happy with them right now. Now, I doubt seriously I'll do anything more with these as far as going up to 6 or certainly not a larger diameter. So I'm very happy I did this. I'm very happy I did this. I had been thinking about doing the piercing period for a number of years. I mean, we're talking well over 20 years I thought about doing this. And so I'm very glad I got it done last year. I'm very glad I stepped up here just the other day. So that's it. So take a good look, guys, because I don't think I'm going to be quite this open and honest about this kind of stuff in the future. Although maybe I will be. Who knows? Alrighty. Bye-bye, guys. Beautiful day out.